Hi, I'm Bob Weir with another interview of interest to residents of the Flower Mound area. My guest today is James Gordon Emerich, former chairman of the Flower Mound Historical Society, to talk about some of the activities offered by our town. Thanks for being here, James.
Thank you for inviting me.
If you would begin by giving our viewers some background on yourself, such as education, occupation.
Sure. Moved here in 1990 from the West Coast. My background is engineering, electronics engineering, technical sales. My education is, I went to Penn State University and in pre-law, and then I went back for 2 years in electronics engineering technology. So.
All right, and I see you're wearing a PALS Board shirt, Community Activity Center shirt also.
Yeah.
And PALS Board was, what does it stand for? Parks?
Parks, arts, and library.
Library Services, that's right, yeah.
Right.
And Annette was a member of the PALS Board
Sure
for
was.
some years. And, all right, let me get on with what are some of the activities residents can avail themselves of in the town?
What kind of activities?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to talk about the overall parks that people have.
Sure,
in parks.
please do, yeah.
So basically, I was asked by Helen Johns to join the Parks Board in 1992. I joined in '93. Helen is the widow of Leonard Johns, who started the Parks Board. He's also responsible for the July 4th parade, and he was the guy that pioneered the Christmas parade, as we know it. So he was the guy that started the Parks Board here in town. So I ended up on the Parks Board, and my objectives on the Parks Board were twofold. First, I wanted to get sports fields because a lot of kids were moving into town, and we had one sports field at the time. And number two is, having been a former juvenile probation officer, I believe that you got to keep kids busy. So I also pushed for what's now known as the youth director position in town. So to keep kids busy, keep them out of trouble.
And we do have some beautiful parks in Flower Mound. Well, I'm constantly in awe of some of the beautiful areas like, I don't know, Baker's Park, or what's the other one? The Giroux Park.
Giroux.
And I mean, there's so many.
I can tell you're from town because you said it right, Giroux, not Geralt.
Yeah, right. And I knew Andre Giroux also.
Yes.
A wonderful man. So town has all of this, and that's because of people like you, people who got on the boards, and over the years, the various boards in town and the town council. This town has had some great administrators over the years, and it's as beautiful as it is today, even though it's grown tremendously from when we first got here.
Yes.
What do we have, like 80,000 people in town now?
85, yes.
85,000 people. But thanks to some good people who were sitting on boards in the council, the P&Z, the parks boards, on and on, this town has blossomed. I'm going on and on with this because I'm always so pleased with the way the town has been going. But
yeah.
Let me ask you about the Community Activity Center. Tell us a bit about that.
Sure. The bond election for a rec center failed, I think, in 1985. And one of the council members, Tom Cochran, who's was a council member, got together with myself and the manager or the chairman at that time. I was vice chair, and said we need to do something. And so he initiated a renewed effort to get what he called the revenue generating rec center. So based on that, we put together a plan and to build a rec center that would produce money for the town, and that got passed on to what they call the Blue Ribbon Committee. Tim Trotter was on that, and they just did everything we recommended except for they eliminated ice skating rinks.
And Tim Trotter was a great council member.
Yes, he was. He is. He's a friend of mine,
and so was Joel. I can't remember his last name now, Joel. Another council member, Joel, I can't.
Lindsay?
Lindsay, that's
Yeah,
right, but
yeah.
another great council member, yeah.
Yeah.
We've had many great ones over the years. So if you would basically, what is offered at the activity center? I know a lot about it, of course. It has, it had like recreational areas, ping pong table, pool tables. It has a pool. It has a running track on the second level, and also has plenty of things to do there. And then there's the senior center.
Yes.
Over here, which offers a lot of activities as well, and including a small workout area, a gym, and a pool room, a big conference hall, and a lot of other things.
Yeah.
How about this, James? Is there a tennis center in our future?
I believe so. Mel Rapp was one of the original Parks Director, was real big on that. He was real big on tennis, and I tried to get him to do a joint usage with the Flower Mound High School tennis courts.
Yeah.
If they put the lights in, well, that didn't get proposed and didn't happen, and that was about the time I left. But there was on the books a plan to build a tennis center.
Yeah, and we keep hearing that from time to time, and I know people, in my family, some of my nephews that are tennis players, and they ask about it. Do you ever hear about a tennis center?
Yeah.
And I hear about it, and I do, there's studies done on it, but I don't know how close it is.
You need somebody that promotes it, a champion. And Mel Rapp was the guy that got the ones here at Glenwick and other places.
Yeah. Okay, so if you want to talk any more about the trail system, perhaps?
Sure. Trail system was started, there was on the early Parks Board that Leonard John started, there was a Professor Sikora, that's all I know. She was a professor at UNT, I'm told, and she started First Quarter Mile Trail just around Forest Wood Middle School down there. Later we dedicated that to Doc Wilkerson and the field. That was really the only field in town at the time. And we grew it from there, and then we had a master plan, so we added, I happened to be the guy in the master plan, headed up the master plan committee, and we put together over a 100-mile trail system, multi-path.
Yeah, that's
and the other thing that people don't know about is, most people don't know, is we also have a very large equestrian trail system.
Yeah.
And then we have a equestrian circle where they can trailhead where they can water up their horses. They can park their trailers with the horses to get before they get on the trails and water up their horses.
We also have a Chin Chapel soccer complex.
Yes, I can tell you a story about that one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Go ahead.
Baker's brothers were a developer from Dallas. They came in and they started taking out several hundred trees that they weren't supposed to be taking out. And I never could find the girl's name. But there was a middle school girl called the town and said these men are taking down trees, and they sat out, and sure enough they were taking out specimen trees they were not supposed to be taking out. As a consequence, there was a lot of I'll say discussions, to be nice, and they ended up having to donate the land. It's now called the Gin Chapel Soccer Complex and the Animal Shelter land.
And the animal shelter.
And so that girl got that land because the town basically, they ended up negotiating legally, and they finally they were given that land basically.
That's, a lot of people did a lot of great things for this town, and as I said, this town has everything. It has a dog park. It has that big dog park on
the Mound Hound.
The Hound Mound.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. So we have Lakeside, beautiful place, beautiful area. They have the River Walk, on and on and on, and it keeps on growing beautifully. We're being grabbed by the clocks, James. So if there's anything you'd like to add before we close, briefly.
Yeah, just one main thing was the biggest part we had was, we had Giroux, and during the dedication, I took Lori DeLuca, and Van James was at that time the town manager, and I pointed out to him, I said, that land behind there, it costs a lot of money to move all the equipment, so to take care and maintain these things. So I suggested we buy that land back there, and that ended up becoming Memorial Park and Bakersfield and that whole area. And it was, so Bakersfield we initiated a petition from the FMYSA to get that land. And that's how we got the town to dedicate that land, and there were some people donating land to it on top of that. So it turned out to be our signature park.
Some great history. There really is some great history in this wonderful town, and I want to thank you again, James, for your contribution to the town over the years. And thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me, Bob. Appreciate it.
And thank you for watching.